The snow has gone. It's getting warm. It's almost spring. What are we gonna do? Hey friends, Max Raphael from Hops World here, and today's tip number 40, spring cleaning of our hop yard. Let's do it. Hey folks, today's tip number 40 from Hops World is all about spring cleanup. So here we are at our male hop yard. As you can see, it's a real small yard. It's behind this deck that I made to keep our male plants. It's only about 100 feet from the road. You might be able to hear, it's about 2 miles from an airport. So sorry about all the extra noise. But today we're gonna do some spring cleaning. We haven't touched this yard since last fall after we picked the cones. You might notice that the plants are still wrapped around the strings as we left the strings and we left the plants. Actually, this is the best way to leave your plants in the fall so that the carbohydrates and the nutrients that are in the plant have a chance to return back into the ground and into the roots and the rhizomes over the winter. So shortly in the spring, they should explode. But today, we're going to clean these up. We're going to trim the plants back down to the ground. We're going to add our super natural fertilizers, our natural steroid. It's actually some real good organic soil with mushroom fertilizer that I love, and some peat moss to help keep moisture, and of course perlite. I always use perlite, help aerate. So first thing we're going to do is clean the hop yard. Pick up the trash and then with a rake gently clean all the trash. There's a bunch of stones in all. About less than a month ago, this was plowed under from the plow guy plowing a parking lot right next to the plants, and there was 3 feet of snow and ice and stones on top of these plants. So fingers crossed they're okay and they made it through. But let's get to cleaning. So what we do is we clean any trash, and then we take a metal rake and clean all the old leaves, debris, and plant material from around and near the plants. We clean the crown of the plant by hand so we don't damage anything. Then we cut the existing vines from last year 6 to 10 inches above the ground. We clear any of the old vines off the strings. If we need to replace the old strings, we do. And if they're still in good shape, we still use them. Why not? Well, there we go, folks. Teamaker, Magnum, and Alpha Roma. The 3 females that we had here last year that we used to make crosses with our 2 males. If you look here at our Teamaker, wow, she's got lots of nodes here on top. Now the top of the plant we cut just now about 4 inches long. We're going to trim every one straight down to the top of each plant. The same with the other 2. This one here, you can see it's about 8 or 10 inches long. There's nodes popping out right at the base. We're going to cut that right down to the ground, because it's still going to get cold. There's still maybe some nights of frozenness. Here is Rocky. Look at Rocky, little purple buds, nodes. Damn, he's a good looking boy. We're gonna trim him up too. That's our Neo Mexicano male over here. Our other male, I actually took a cutting from this last year. I wasn't sure how it was going to look. So you can see there's a root. It's cut, it's dying, but the main bulk of the plant, look at the little stems coming out. So now we're going to finish up treating these plants before we let them go so they can sprout. So the idea with these plants is to cut back all this growth from last year that turned woody and now dried out and died. We want to cut that right down to ground level. I've seen big, huge farms out in Yakima Valley that actually have growth like this and they let it go. But for us, we like to cut them a little bit closer to the ground, just to keep clean any extra place where the plant could rot or possibly insects. So that's what we do, and we clear it completely clean. We'll finish up. So as you can see, we cleaned the crown up pretty darn well. We took out all of the old, rotted, dried up pieces. So we mostly have most of these little nodes. This really helps to prevent bugs. That's air breathed on the plant. But what we have to do now is finish our little bit of organic fertilization, and we have to protect this. I looked at the forecast. There's definitely going to be some nights that get below 32 degrees, and these could freeze. It's better to protect them. So we never throw fertilizer or anything right on top of the crown. This is called the crown of the plant. You never put product. You never actually let water fall on the crown either from drip or throwing water. The roots are around the plant, so anything that absorbs into the soil is going to get soaked up in the roots. You don't want to put anything that's going to hurt this little crown and these new nodes. But we do need to protect them from the cold. So what we'll do now is put our natural organic mix of soil mixed with all of our other ingredients around the plant, and we'll mix them into the soil a little bit, and then we'll actually cover the plant with mostly soil. Now, this is only going into the second year for this plant, so this is what we do. If this was a third year or more plant, there's more procedures of cutting the roots and so the plant doesn't grow too big and too far underground, because we really want it to grow straight up. But for the first and second year, this is the plan. So let's do it. I'll show you how we do it. So we take our organic mix and make a ring around the crown of the hops plant. We don't put any on top of the plant. Then we take a metal rake and mix it in well, and then we barely cover the tips of the hops plant to protect it from the cold. And then we wait for spring for the plant to take off. So, why are you still here? Get to work, guys. Lots of work to do out there in your hops yards before the plants start sprouting. This is our first tip. We're going to have lots of tips here in the spring series of all about hops tips. If you liked our tip, give a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out our blog once a week. Everything we're doing here, inside and outside, all about hops. Thanks, friends. Cheers to life.